Listen to Mike Shilt's post-game comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
2-2, Manny swings, hits it in the air, deep to left field. Verdugo's back to watch this one. Gonna go into the second deck above the bullpen in left. And Manny Machado's first career hit against Iglesias is a ninth inning go-ahead homer. It's 2-1.
As I said, anybody can get it at any point in time.
Manny Machado strikes in the ninth inning as the Padres win it 2-1 in Atlanta. The Padres snap a 6-game skid with a very nice win in this series opener against the Atlanta Braves. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort postgame show. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Hey player, the Jamul Casino Resort is your place with a Lux Hotel Tower opening soon, new dining, and a long list of amazing amenities. You'll have more ways to play and enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. A lot to do on our post-game coverage as we enter this Memorial Day weekend here on the Padres Radio Network. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We'll go back to Atlanta, hear from Mike Shildt. So we'll have all the radio highlights for you. I think I said Mike Shildt there twice, collecting my thoughts here as we get post-game started. All the radio highlights, full game recap coming your way. Out-of-town scoreboard, your phone calls, and much, much more to do as the Padres improved to 28-21. Braves dropped to 24-26. Manny Machado breaking a 1-1 tie in the ninth inning by hitting a home run, his fourth of the season against Raisel Iglesias, who he did not have a lot of success in his career before that at bat. And the Padres pick up a really, really nice win. And look, Padres got a couple of things that they have not got for the last week or so. Number one, they got a big swing from Manny. Manny's struggles in this losing streak have been well documented. Has not been an easy stretch for him. Has not been an easy stretch for the Padres. Padres, for most of this game, it was the same old story offensively, not stringing hits together. Now, of all the games in the last 7, this one was the one where it made the most sense because the Padres were facing one of the best starting pitchers in baseball in Chris Sale. We knew this was a marquee starting pitching matchup coming in. Sale was excellent. 7 innings, 1 earned run given up. He gave up a home run to Gavin Sheets to tie the game at 1 in the second inning. Nick Pivetta was great as well. Made one mistake in this game. The first pitch he threw to Ronald Acuna Jr., who amazingly, first pitch he sees in nearly a year, guess what? Hits it out for a home run to give the Braves a 1-0 lead. But aside from that, Pivetta was also terrific in this game. It was, as advertised, a great, great pitching duel between Pivetta and Sale, and it stayed 1-1 until that Manny home run in the ninth inning. So you can sort of, I think, forgive the Padres not doing a whole lot against Chris Sale. A lot of lineups aren't going to do a whole lot against Chris Sale. But back to what the Padres got in this game that they haven't got as of late. Number one, they got a big, big swing from Manny, who really needed that. The Padres really needed that. And the Padres got slug. We've talked a lot about that as of late, the lack of slug. They got slug in a spot where a home run meant a lot, and Manny providing that against a really, really good right-handed reliever in the ninth inning. The Padres also got some good fortune for once with what happened in that bottom half of the ninth inning. Eli White, the pinch runner on second base, representing the tying run, a base hit to center, and then just mass confusion by Eli White and or the third base coach for the Braves. I don't know what happened there, but somehow, some way, on a base hit to center, where at the very least White, the tying run, would have been at third base, White, for some reason, and I'm sure Brian Snitker will be asked about it after the game. I'm sure White will be asked about it after the game, and we'll find out what exactly happened. For some reason, he thought the ball got caught and started going back to second base when he was already on third base, and he was out at second base by a mile on a tag play. Just inexplicable one way or another that Eli White, I mean, truly, it was like a play out of Little League where you have a Little Leaguer running the wrong way and the dad saying, hey, go back to this. I mean, it was kind of crazy. I've never seen anything like it. And somehow, some way, White ends up trying to go back to second base when he obviously didn't have to do that and gets tagged out. The Padres get a huge break. Robert Suarez, instead of having runners on first and third with one out, he has a runner on first base with two outs, gets the next batter, and picks up the save, his 16th of the season, as the Padres win it 2-1. And look, they got some good fortune and they got really good pitching. Adrian Morejon, we'll get into what he did. He was absolutely terrific in this game out of the bullpen. Very, very well pitched. As we know, pitching has not been the problem for the Padres as of late. And no matter how they had to do it tonight, whether it was scoring 10 runs and having a blowout win, whether it was getting a win like this, or you needed one big swing, a tight game, a late big swing, look, Padres desperately needed a win to put a smile on their faces after what's been going on the last week. They snapped the 6-game skid. They get a really good win against a really good team, despite the Braves being 2 games under 500. We know they've played much better as of late since the start of the season. They're getting healthier and healthier, and they get a win on a day where they had to face Chris Sale. So somehow, some way, Padres needed a win to snap this losing skid, and thankfully they get it here today. Final score, Padres 2, Braves 1. We'll come back, a full game recap. We'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up in a little bit as well, as the Padres take this series opener in Atlanta. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score in Atlanta. Padres pick up a very nice and much-needed win as they beat the Braves 2-1 on this Friday. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. We'll go back to Truist Park in Atlanta in just a little bit. Hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. But first, let's recap this one from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
We had an absolute marquee pitching matchup today between Chris Sale and Nick Pivetta. Sale pitched the scoreless top of the first inning. In the bottom half, Ronald Acuna Jr. took his first at-bat of the season, and since last May, after dealing with the second ACL tear of his career, the 2023 National League MVP dug in.
Is at-bat for the Atlanta Braves. First pitch swinging unbelievable. Deep to left center, a home run. And what a moment here at Truist Park. Acuna put his hands on the side of his batting helmet as he ran to first base as if he could not believe it. But he'd better, because that's one of the hardest hit balls we've seen all year. An absolute no-doubter to give Atlanta a 1-0 lead, 467 feet to left center field.
It was an absolute blast from Ronald Acuna Jr., a pretty special moment in Atlanta. He returns to action, hits a home run on the very first pitch he sees of the season. Nick Pivetta delivering it, and like Jesse alluded to, it went a long, long way. So the Braves had a 1-0 lead. As we went to the second, the Padres would respond with Gavin Sheets.
2-1, Sale delivers, and Sheets sends it in the air, straightaway center and deep. Harris is back now towards left center on the move, and it's going to go. Another home run for Gavin Sheets. This time the other way, and another game-tying shot. This one makes it 1-1 in the second.
Lefty on left, 97 inner half.
Yeah, what a moment for Gavin Sheets against Chris Sale. His third home run in the last 2 days, his 9th of the season. Sheets continuing to lead the Padres in RBIs with 29. So Gavin Sheets tying the game at 1 in the second. From that point on, both starting pitchers would really settle in. Let's start with Nick Pivetta. A 1-2-3 second. The Braves then had 2 runners on with nobody out against him in the third, but Pivetta got out of it. A runner on second base in the 4th inning, but Pivetta left him stranded. Pivetta dealt with a runner on second in the 5th, but again, the Braves left a runner on. Sale had allowed just 1 single after the Sheets home run as we entered the 6th inning. Still tied at 1. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a leadoff double. Luis Arraez laid down a sac bunt to get Tatis to third base. Manny Machado then hit a ground ball to third. Austin Riley came home with it. The Braves got Tatis at home. Manny was then caught stealing second base on what looked like a delayed steal, and just like that, the inning was over. Meanwhile, Pivetta continued to throw up zeros. A scoreless bottom of the 6th inning. Sale through a scoreless 7th inning. Pivetta was done after 6. Adrian Morejon entered for the bottom of the 7th. He tossed a 1-2-3 frame. So after all that, we were still tied at 1 going to the 8th inning. Then both starters out of the game. Braves reliever Daysbel Hernandez threw a scoreless top of the 8th inning. Morejon returned to the mound and retired Austin Riley and Matt Olson to start the bottom half. Jason Adam retired Marcell Ozuna to end the inning. So we were still tied at 1. Just had the Acuna home run and the Sheets home run in the first couple of innings. Braves closer Raisel Iglesias came in a 1-1 game in the 9th inning. Manny Machado led off.
2-2, Manny swings, hits it in the air, deep to left field. Verdugo's back to watch this one. Gonna go into the second deck above the bullpen in left. And Manny Machado's first career hit against Iglesias is a 9th inning go-ahead homer. It's 2-1.
As I said, anybody can get it at any point in time.
A big home run for Manny Machado, his 4th of the season, put the Padres ahead 2-1. That's all the Padres got in the top of the 9th inning. So that meant Robert Suarez came in the bottom half of the 9th inning, trying to pick up the save in a 1-run game. Alex Verdugo led off the inning with a single. Eli White, keep that name in mind, came into pinch run for Verdugo. After that, a little dribbler towards the third baseline was picked up by Elias Diaz. That was off the bat of Sean Murphy. Diaz made a great play to get the out at first base, but the pinch runner White moved up to second. So a 2-1 Padre lead. White representing the tying run on second base. It was Ozzie Albies at the plate.
Runner on second, 1 out. 1-run lead in the 9th. Here's the 2-2. Albies swings, hits it on a line into center field. That's down in front of Merrill. They will hold White at third, who's running back towards second. They'll throw and tag him out. The ball was not caught in center field. but White, who was being held up by the third base coach, not only slammed on the brakes, but started heading back towards second.
Just a really, really weird play and an extraordinarily lucky break for the Padres. For some reason, Eli White, after that hit got down in center, he went back to second base. He was at third base, and whether it was that he thought the ball was caught by Maryland center or the third base coach thought it was caught, or the third base coach made a motion and White thought that meant he was supposed to go back to second base for some reason, and I'm sure we'll find out more information as the Braves talk in the clubhouse after this one. For some reason, Eli White went back to second base, and the Padres took full advantage, tagged him out by a mile at second. That was out number 2. Albies was on first base. The game was left up to Michael Harris II.
Harris swings, hits it on the ground up the middle. It'll be fielded by Bogarts, goes the short way, in time to force Albies and end the game. A wild ninth at Truist Park in Atlanta. Manny Machado, a go-ahead homer in the top half, and then some unbelievably bad base running by the Braves in the bottom half as the Padres end their 6-game losing streak with a 2-1 win here in Atlanta.
The Padres got a big swing from Manny. They got some good fortune and took advantage of some bad base running in the bottom half of the 9th inning by the Braves. And the Padres, like Jesse said, snapped this 6-game skid. They win it 2-1 in Atlanta. Final totals for the Padres: 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. For the Braves, 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors. Padres improved to 28-21. The Braves dropped to 24-26. Winning pitcher Jason Adam improves to 5-0. Losing pitcher Raisel Iglesias, who drops to 3-4, and Robert Suarez picks up his 16th save of the season. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, plus we have our daily awards. We'll get to your phone calls coming up a little bit later as well at 833-288-0973. Final in Atlanta, Padres 2, Braves 1. Our postgame coverage continues after these words. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Our postgame coverage after today's Padres win, as always, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. A really much-needed win for the Padres here tonight. Manny Machado, a home run in the ninth inning. Solo shot put the Padres ahead 2-1 against a really good reliever in Raisel Iglesias. And the Padres getting a great start from Nick Pivetta. 6 innings, 1 run given up. The bullpen in this game. We'll talk more about Adrian Morejon a little bit later. I thought you could argue he might have been the MVP of this game for the Padres. I'll get into that a little bit later. Bullpen did a great job. Padres obviously got a little lucky with just some terrible base running by the Braves in the bottom half of the ninth inning, with the Padres leading by 1, and so the Padres get a much-needed win. They snap a 6-game skid as they take this series opener in Atlanta. We'll get to your phone calls a little bit later, 833-288-0973. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, our daily awards, and we'll get you ready for the middle game of this series tomorrow. But first, let's head back to Truist Park in Atlanta and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Obviously, it's Manny's big blast that is the difference, but the way that you guys just kept going at him and you're facing one of the best pitchers in the league. What did you think of the effort tonight?
Oh my gosh, man, that just speaks volumes. You know, we talk about winners find a solution. They're going to say, "Hey, you just lost 6 straight." How do you say that? I say it with complete confidence because, you know, listen, the game's, you know, it's not meant to be played perfectly. It's just not going to be. It's one of the hardest games there is to play, and it can be unforgiving. And it's a testament to your mental toughness and your ability to play it right. And the thing about your mental toughness is you can play it right and still not get results. And so, and not going to alibi, we played it right, exactly the right last 6 games. But I can tell you, we played it tough, and couldn't have been more on display tonight. You got one way to go when things aren't going well. Actually, you got 2 ways to go. We only have one. One way, you can feel sorry for yourself and you can pout, but nobody's going to. The game doesn't care, and ultimately the other side's not going to ever care. And so we chose the only solution that we know, and that's to just keep figuring it out and keep going. And and Nick set the tone. You know, he just absolutely set the tone. And you talk about an absolute battle. I mean, where we're at, first pitch of the game, we're down 1-0. And that could have been an escape. Here we go. Oh, no. And again, he had a choice. He could have said, "Oh, no." And he said, "No, it ain't happening." And he had some traffic in the third and battled his tail off and came in. And he was defiant and very convicted that he was going to get 6 innings. I'm getting 6 innings. And it's amazing what your mind can tell your body to do. And clearly his body performed very well for him. And I just, you know, it started right there on that dirt mound. And Nick Pivetta set the tone for us. And then Adrian came in and absolutely crammed. You know, he did a fantastic job. And, you know, we had Estrada down and had the right lane for him. But, man, he went out and, you know, dominated the 7th and got those 2 big outs in the 8th. And he done his part. And then it's Jason's turn. And now here comes Manny, you know, another great example. You know, be the first to tell you, Manny, game's been challenging him lately. The game is challenging him. He went off a 14-game hitting streak and, you know, got opportunities that, man, he was giving everything he had and had the right approach. But he could easily got that situation. But you could just tell Manny always wants it. And went in there in a big at bat in the 9th and got a slider, it looked like, and do what Manny does and put a good swing on it. And we were able to bring it home with Suarez. And gosh, man, what a play by Diaz. Oh my goodness. You know, you see all the highlight gems and you don't see a lot of historical like catching plays, like when they showed the top 50 plays and best plays in baseball. It's outfielders, it's infielders. You know, Toddy obviously dominates it. Manny can dominate it. You know, a lot of guys can dominate it. But man, you just saw a baseball play by Diaz that is as good as you're going to see on a baseball field in the moment.
Manny had a chance to drive in a run there early, and it's kind of an atom ball there. How, you mentioned he stayed with his approach. Player like that, how gratifying do you think it is for him to stick with it and hit the go-ahead home run?
Yeah, it's got to be gratifying for him. You know, he's a big reason of what we do, but he doesn't have to carry it all, but he does feel like he has to, and he wants to do his part. And, he does it quite a bit. And it's a good example. Earlier bat, good at bat. Stay with it. Keep your mind in a good spot. Keep properly focused. And, with this group, when we're focused properly, we're going to play, as good a baseball as we can, and that's going to give us the opportunity to shake a lot of hands into the game and feel good about it.
You mentioned Adrian. He pitched so well the other night in that one inning that just sort of got away.
Yep.
Like, how happy were you for him that he was able to pitch?
Yeah, that's a good point. He came in the other night, 2-0 game. We're down. Typically, he's a kind of a tied or up guy, but because of where we've been, he needed to go pitch in that game. Hadn't pitched in a while, and came in and got a lot of soft contact. The inning got away from us a little bit, uncharacteristically defensively. But man, and I went out and got him, and the competitor was like, man, I want to keep going, but we went and got him because we realized, hey man, we don't want to throw too many bullets here because we're going to need those bullets for later, and that later was tonight with a 1+.
How strong is Gavin Shildt to be able to take that pitch where he put it?
Yeah, that's big boy land. That's a big boy part of this ballpark, and very strong. But like we've talked about Gavin, he's just got a nice stroke. He's a strong kid, so he's just trying to make a good swing on the baseball, and the power is already there. But that's an impressive swing.
How big if he can be productive against left-handers?
Yeah, he has been.
Right.
But to your point, when he is productive against lefties, it's really big because, and he just really has been. He's been a good hitter, and him driving the ball the other way against the lefty, him getting big hits this past series against lefties, homers ball through the middle of the field to get us a go-ahead run yesterday. It just means he's an everyday guy.
Team, obviously, offense has been, here or there lately, but for you to, get a game-winning hit, hostile environment, top of the ninth off their closer, I feel like that maybe be one of those things that could swing the momentum for you there.
Yeah, it feels like, whatever that. I mean, listen, when you go through it, we've been shaking off the feeling of the heaviness, and I think fairly well, but, keep going. You want to see some breakthrough and get some breaks, but you make your own in this game. And, but yeah, we've broken through, and now it's time to get back to the good side of the left side of the column.
Can I ask you to go back to the fifth inning and the play by Iglesias, where he was backing up? I just wonder what you thought of that play. It seemed to be far more difficult maybe than it looked. He had the lead rise to first base.
Oh yeah,
you guys made
yeah,
plays
yeah.
like that all night.
We did. We played our tails off defensively. We really did. We highlight with Diaz's play, but Louis looking to go get the ball, realize he's there. Iglesias goes over, ranges over, makes a really nice play to begin with, and then have the touch feel to be able to throw to a guy on the run on the bag. It's those plays that you go, yeah, that's the big leagues.
Like, I know you were bogged down in trying to manage your team, but that's a moment that Ronald Acuna, that was incredible. Seeing him back on the field is probably
I
not
mean,
something.
you want to see the best players in the world compete, and so good for him. I don't know what his journey's like, but I know it's a long journey to get back, and to go up and be able to have that moment is rewarding. It's good for the game.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt. After today's game, Padres beat the Braves 2-1. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios as our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. We'll save some thoughts on Gavin Shildt for our next segment because I do think we need to take a second, not that we haven't, throughout the year, but need to take a second to really appreciate what Gavin Sheets continues to do in the context of who he was entering spring training. But let's talk about Nick Pivetta there. Mike Shildt touched on a lot, but from this game, you'll talk about Manny, what he did in the ninth inning. You'll talk about Gavin Sheets hitting another home run. You'll talk about the bad base running in the bottom half of the ninth inning. You'll talk about Chris Sale being really good. You'll talk about the moment with Ronald Acuna Jr. It was one heck of a moment on the first pitch he sees of his season to hit a home run after recovering from his second ACL tear. He's a terrific player. He's one of the great players in our game. But Nick Pivetta, I think Mike Shildt put it perfectly. He really set the tone, and the way he bounced back, not only after giving up the home run to Acuna, but really dealing with a lot of base traffic in this game, it was remarkably impressive. I mean, you go through it inning by inning for Pivetta. This was not, I would say, the most dominant outing he's had. He dealt with a lot in this outing. Gave up the early home run to Acuna, which, I'm sure did not feel great for him. But again, like Mike Shildt alluded to, really bear down after that. But you go through it inning by inning. Even after he gives up the home run to Acuna in the first inning, later in the inning, dealing with runners on first and second, gets out of it. Then in the third, how about this? He was dealing with runners on first and second and nobody out. And then ends up striking out Olsen, striking out Ozuna, getting a fly out from Verdugo to get out of the inning. In the fourth inning, runner on second base, 2 outs, gets out of the inning. Fifth inning, runner on second with 2 outs, strikes out Ozuna, 1, 2, 3, sixth inning to polish off the outing. At one point in this game, the Braves were 0 for 6 against Nick Pivetta with runners in scoring position. He did a really, really good job getting out of trouble when he absolutely had to. And again, you'll look at a lot of different things from this game. Manny's home run is probably what you'll remember, the bad base running in the ninth inning. But the Padres don't win this game if Nick Pivetta doesn't deliver this kind of performance. He was great once again here tonight and did a great job bouncing back. And really, I think when you look at the way he had to battle out of trouble time after time, really battling his way through 6 innings here today. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll talk about Gavin Sheets. We're also going to talk about Adrian Morejon, who was terrific in this game. Continue to break it down. If you want to squeeze a phone call in, 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call. Final score, Padres 2 and the Braves 1. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as the Padres win it 2-1 against the Atlanta Braves on this Friday. Padres snap a 6-game skid, and the Padres will now try to go for 2 wins in a row tomorrow. We'll have more on tomorrow's game and the rest of this series coming up a little bit later. A happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody, the unofficial start of summer, as we say, and hopefully everybody's having a good time on this Memorial Day weekend. Maybe you're on the way to your I don't know, whatever you're doing. Maybe you're on the way to go to a beach house, or maybe you're on the way to I don't know. We're going to be working all weekend here with the Padres games. But hey, baseball, that's part of Memorial Day weekend. Hope you're having a great time. And if you're sitting in traffic still right now at 7:30 somewhere in Southern California, well, hey, at least we're here to keep you company. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Well, to me, there is absolutely no doubt about this one. It is Adrian Morejon, who was terrific. I thought maybe the best he's been all year in this game. Morejon relieving Nick Pivetta after Pivetta went 6 strong innings. Comes in the 7th inning in a tight game, 1-1. You heard Mike Shildt say that Jeremiah Estrada was unavailable today. So Morejon coming in 7th inning. They find him a lane. 1, 2, 3, 7th inning. Really, really efficient. Then comes back out for the 8th inning. Gets Riley, gets Olsen. So it was 5 up, 5 down in a 1-1 game between the 7th and the 8th for Morejon. He did it on just 19 pitches, 13 for strikes. And you look at the guys that he had to face, the 5 guys. Michael Harris II, really good player. Nick Allen, the number 9 hitter. And then the top of the Braves lineup, Acuna, Riley, and Olsen. I mean, that's a really, really tough group of hitters to have to face. And Morejon went 5 up, 5 down. I said it earlier. Yeah, the Manny swing was big. Yeah, the Pivetta swing was not the Pivetta swing. Pivetta's pitching was big. But, I mean, Morejon, what he did with the 5 up, 5 down, and the part of the lineup he had to face, I thought it was massive, absolutely massive in this game. Jason Adam getting the final out of the 8th inning. Only had to throw a couple of pitches in this game. But Morejon going 5 up, 5 down against those guys that could give the Braves a lead with one swing. That was huge in this game. He was a critical part of this win for the Padres. Absolutely no doubt about it. Padres had some really good defense in this game. Like Mike Shildt alluded to, a great play in the 9th inning that was really, really big. Let's hear it.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
Eli White, very speedy, is over there, not running, and Murphy hits the first pitch on the ground up the third baseline, picked up by Diaz, bare hand, throw to first is in time. 1 away.
What a heck of a play by Elias Diaz.
Yeah, Tony is right on it. That was a great play by Diaz. Not an easy play whatsoever. Had to go up the third baseline. A ball that looked like it was going to trickle foul and then kind of kicked fair, and Diaz went to get it, spun, and made an excellent throw to first base to get the first out of the inning. And of course, moments after that, that's when you had just a brutal base running play by White, who for some reason went back to second base on the hit by Albies. But that was a great play by Elias Diaz. Definitely the catch of the game here today in the Padres 2-1 win. Really an excellent defensive play, and part of that scoreless 9th inning for Robert Suarez as he picks up his 16th save of the season. Phone number is always 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call. Let's go to Chula Vista. It's Eric who leads us off on this Friday. Eric, you're on the Padres Radio Network. Welcome in.
Hey, thanks, Sam. It's been a while since I've called in. A huge victory for the Padres. Definitely they didn't want to get to that 7-game losing streak which I think was mentioned on the radio cast. Last time the Padres did that was maybe 21 or 22.
Yep, 21.
You know, and I think as long as the Padres can stay out of extra innings and out of interleague play, they'll be fine. All joking aside, though, you know, the Padres, you know, they're kind of concerning. I think me as a fan, not producing a whole lot of runs, relying on maybe some bad base running by opposing teams or great plays by one of our catchers. And I understand it's all part of the baseball game. Like Mike Shildt alluded to, it happens in a long season, but they need to find ways to win themselves without relying on the other team. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, Eric, you got it. Look, a nice win, no doubt about it. You needed to find a way to just win this game one way or another. You were going to take a win any way you could get it today after losing 6 in a row, and getting the swing they got from Manny was huge, and hopefully is a sign of things to come for Manny in this offense. Look, they didn't do a lot offensively today. They didn't have anything going. Out of all the games in the last 7, this would actually be the one where it makes the most sense because you're facing Chris Sale, and a lot of teams are going to do what the Padres did offensively today against Chris Sale. I'm with you, though. Even with the win, you still need to see this Padres offense get going. You'll take the win. You're not going to complain about the win. Absolutely no doubt about that, but it's not like you saw a very different offense today, aside from Manny having a big home run. But hey, to the Padres and Manny's credit, the Padres, it hasn't just been about the lack of offense as a whole. It's been about the lack of home runs, and it's been about the lack of just having a big hit to help you win a game. And the Padres did get that here today. Hopefully the offense kicks it into gear starting tomorrow. Let's go to Eric in Chula Vista. Eric, you're on the Padres Radio Network.
Hey, it's still me.
Oh,
there.
Sorry. It's Eric. Hold on here a second. You know what it was? We have 2 callers here from Chula Vista. Nick, put Mike on hold here so I can take him. It was 2 callers in Chula Vista, Eric and Mike. We went back to Eric. All right, now to Mike in Chula Vista. Mike, you're on the Padres Radio Network. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Sammy? Thanks for having
Hey.
me. Much needed win for the boys for sure after 6 in a row. Just good to see them, you know, kind of pull one through. Manny, for sure, we needed that. I know he needed that. Just good to see them, you know, kind of pull that through after a couple of tough losses. Just want to say shout out to the boys. Shout out to Sammy Lev for repping San Diego. Mike from Chula Vista is out.
All right, that's Mike. Yes, good win. Look, anytime you're in the midst of a 6-game losing streak and it's been going as rough as it's gone for the Padres, this has been a rough week or so. There's no way around it. I think anybody would say that. Yeah, you just needed to win. I understand the offense wasn't electric today. I get it, but you needed to find a way, and sometimes you're going to play really tight games when you have the kind of pitching matchup you had today between Pivetta and Sale, and the Padres got a win. They got a big hit from Manny, a big swing finally, and you're not going to complain about that. Let's step aside. When we come back, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, our play of the game, wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue to wrap this one up. Padres win it 2-1 against the Atlanta Braves. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Let's take a look at the games going on right now. They had a lengthy rain delay at Citi Field in New York, so the Dodgers and Mets still playing. Dodgers leading 5-2 in the sixth inning in New York right now. Mariners ahead of the Astros 5-3 in Houston. In the eighth inning, Rockies lead the Yankees. How about that? 3-2 in Colorado in the eighth inning. The 8-42 Rockies, they are 6 outs away from beating the Yanks at home on a Friday. Angels beating the Marlins 1-0 in Anaheim in the fourth inning. Phillies leading the A's 1-0 in the third in Sacramento. Games already done. Red Sox beating the Orioles in game one of a doubleheader 19-5. Rafael Devers had 2 home runs, 8 RBIs in that game. And the Red Sox, by the way, had a 13-run eighth inning in that win. Game 2, unfortunately, was postponed due to rain. So they'll make that up as part of a doubleheader tomorrow. So they only got one game in that doubleheader at Fenway today. So a doubleheader tomorrow between the O's and the Red Sox. Cubs beat the Reds 13-6 in Cincinnati. Pirates beat the Brewers 6-5 in 10. Pirates won it in the bottom half of the 10th inning on a walk-off wild pitch scenario. Giants beat the Nationals 4-0 in D.C. Rays beat the Blue Jays 3-1 in Tampa Bay. Guardians beat the Tigers 3-1 in Detroit. White Sox beat the Rangers 4-1 in Chicago. Twins beat the Royals 3-1 in Minnesota. Cardinals beat the D-backs 4-3 in St. Louis. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Friday. Well, the Padres and the Braves were tied at 1. Going to the top of the ninth inning, closer Raisel Iglesias on the mound for Atlanta, and that's when Manny Machado provided today's play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
2-2, Manny swings, hits it in the air, deep to left field. Verdugo's back to watch this one. Gonna go into the second deck above the bullpen in left. And Manny Machado's first career hit against Iglesias is a ninth inning go-ahead homer. It's 2-1.
As I said, anybody can get it at any point in time.
Manny Machado, the go-ahead home run in the top of the ninth inning. A big, big swing gave the Padres a 2-1 lead. His fourth home run of the season, and the Padres go on to win by that final score as they snap a 6-game losing skid with a big win today in Atlanta. Padres improved to 28-21, and the Braves dropped to 24-26. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game show there as well. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow, game 2 of this 3-game series between the Padres and Braves in Atlanta. Right-hander Michael King on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. Right-hander Grant Holmes on the mound for the Braves. First pitch tomorrow, 1:10 p.m. here in San Diego. Our pregame coverage from inside our San Diego studios will begin at 12:10 p.m. and we'll go out to Jesse and Tony at Truist Park in Atlanta at 1 p.m. And again, first pitch at 1:10 tomorrow for the middle game of this 3-game set. Taking a look at the final totals in this one here today. For the Padres, 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 4. For the Braves, 1 run, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 7. Winning pitcher, Jason Adam, who improves to 5-0. Losing pitcher, Raisel Iglesias, who drops to 3-4. And the save goes to Robert Suarez, his 16th of the season. Time of game, 2 hours and 28 minutes. And the crowd at Truist Park in Atlanta on this Friday, 40,327. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 1:10 p.m. here in California. Our pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Nick Danucci, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from inside our San Diego studios. Again, the final score today, the San Diego Padres 2 and the Atlanta Braves 1. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.